my beautiful friends, and welcome back to my channel. This is Nova Gnome Creations, and I'm Nova, and I am so happy to see you today. I hope you and your loved ones are taking care of the best that you can. I hope that you guys are doing awesome. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit better than I am. I've got some, I don't know if it's like a bug or if it's allergies or what, but my throat is swollen and sore. And it was yesterday too. I was really hoping it would feel better by today. But my hubby had a sore throat over the weekend, so I was like, okay, I probably just have whatever he had. So hopefully it will run its course, you know, and hopefully I'll be better by tomorrow. But in the meantime, I am drinking lots of tea, drinking out of my, the unicorn gnome mug. Right now I'm having some Earl Grey, and I put like a little dash of cinnamon syrup in it, just a teeny tiny little drop, mostly just for the scent. I probably should have put a teeny tiny drop more because I honestly can't smell it or taste it, but I thought I'd, you know, be like a little like bougie and throw that in there when I was making it. But I was drinking chamomile mint, which is what I've had the last few times. Chamomile mint green tea, but I thought I would have some Earl Grey right now because I was having the chamomile mint last night. I don't know, I felt like a Earl Grey for breakfast kind of vibe. Love an Earl Grey tea, it's so nice. Let me know down in the comments what kind of tea you guys like. But yeah, I'm wondering if it might be allergies because my eyes, I woke up with my eyes being really watery, but it could be both. So it could be two different things at one time, who knows. And if you haven't been around for very long, you might not know, because I mentioned this before, and I realized I must not have ever said anything about it before because everybody was like, what? But I'm actually allergic to cats, even though I have 2 cats. So me waking up with watery eyes isn't really that, like, uncommon. That's why I'm like, could be related, could be just random, you know, like coincidence. But anyway. That's how I'm feeling. That's how I'm doing. But other than that, I'm doing good. Hopefully you guys are doing good, though. I do have something to show you guys. I was actually going to show you yesterday, but I was hoping that my sore throat would go away before I was doing a whole bunch of talking, but oh well, whatever. So, I had shown you guys yesterday in a short, I did like a little make a crystal Spriggan with me, and I wanted to do a video going more in depth for that. So that is, I joined in on the hashtag Year of the Impkin, which is going on with Mantha's Makes channel, which is Sam, and with Obsessive Crochet Lady, which is Amanda Panda, and they're doing this Year of the Impkin, which is going on all year long. It is every 2 months we're making an Impkin from the Impkin book by Megan Lapp. It's Megan Lapp, also known as Crafty Intentions. You guys have probably seen it, but I will link the book below, and I will also link both of their channels below. They're doing like every 2 months we're having a live over on Sam's channel, she does Saturday lives, where we're all kind of voting on parts for an Impkin, and then we're all making the Impkin over the next 2 months with those different parts. And like, it's super cool because everybody makes it differently, even though we're all like making the same Impkin. You know how that goes with crochet and with amigurumi specifically. You can all make the same thing and it come out completely different. I think that is so fun. So I joined in this time. This was my first time joining in. They had one before this, which I might go back and make the one before this. But I didn't have the book yet, and I got the PDF download for it. But I do want to get the physical book also. For collection purposes, and also it's one of those books where you need to flip back and forth a lot, so like it's kind of up in the air about whether the PDF or the book would be better for that, because you know, you're going like, okay, there's like the table of contents, and you're gonna like go to like a certain page to make this part of it, then you need to go back to the table of contents, and you need to go to a different page to make a different part of it. So yeah, you're like kind of flipping back and forth a lot, but I do really like the PDF. And the nice thing about PDFs, this is my first time really crocheting like from a PDF book. The nice thing about it is you can zoom in and out and everything, so it's really nice to be able to like zoom in when you want to and things like that. So there's definitely a perk to it, you know. I pull it up on my computer, and then I can sit at my computer and work on it, and I don't have to have the book in front of me, because like having a big book like that, because you know they're like big books where it may not fit in front of you, maybe hanging off the desk, or it takes up a lot of room so you can't have other things, you know, all that good jazz. Plus you can move all over the place, be on the go or whatever, and just pull up the PDF. So it's got perks. This is my first time doing that. And I do like it, actually. I surprised myself by liking it. But anyway, about it. So I joined in on that, and I decided I was going to go crystal Spriggan with it, which if you guys have been around a little bit, I made a thingy for Hooker versus Hooker last month. Even though I wasn't like a contestant on it like I am this month, which I do have news about that. But I decided to make my amigurumi for Hooker versus Hooker last month and make it into this concept that I ended up having, which I actually made this up while I was making this amigurumi. I made the concept up. So like I've said a few times, but I just want to reiterate, the concept for the crystal Spriggan right now is just more of a vibe than any specific features. So like eventually I do plan on this kind of fleshing out into a more possibly fleshing out into a more like nailed down vision of like a pattern, kind of, almost. But for now, I'm literally just having a vibe to it, and that's this like crystal Spriggan. So I made this, and I kind of made up the crystal Spriggan idea while I was making it. So I did write down like a little blurb, so I'll read it to you guys. It is small folk who dwell in caves and underground, and I've actually kind of modified that a little bit in my description, which I need to update, but I was thinking more like abandoned mines, abandoned mines or caves. Underground might be a little bit like, even though technically mines are underground, I realized the phrasing might not be exactly what I'm trying, like what I thought of, if that makes sense. Consumed by their obsession to hunt for crystals, some even possess special abilities that aid in their search. So this one has a special ability, this little tentacle thing, or antenna, whatever. I haven't really I don't really know what I would call it. Maybe kind of more like a tentacle. It has like a feeler to it, which it can sense the vibration of crystals from in the earth or from wherever. So it can sense out where crystals are going to be, you know, say it's walking along an abandoned mine shaft, and it can sense crystals like, oh, okay, I want to go and, you know, start searching around there, type thing. So that was this guy, and I did show him more in depth on my channel. But then I decided to do this Impkin in the style of a crystal Spriggan as well, which meant scrappy. The first thing I did was I wanted it to be scrappy. So I pulled out my little scrap mushroom. I have a little mushroom tin, or not tin, but like plastic bucket type thing. It's actually a terrarium, like a bug terrarium that Target had in their like $5 like section of their dollar section a couple of years ago, and I literally bought it and immediately was like, I'm gonna use this for yarn scraps. I got it because it was cute and it was mushrooms, but I was like, I'm gonna use this for yarn scraps. So I immediately got in there and I pulled out some yarn scraps that I thought would like correspond together in a nice way to give like the kind of color palette that I was going for. So the crystal Spriggans in my mind have kind of earth tone color palettes, but like scrappy and boho and kind of, I don't know how to phrase it, like rustic sort of vibes, like a little bit tattered. You know, they're out like in abandoned mine shafts and things like that. So that was what I did, was I got in there, picked out these yarns, and I started to work up the Impkin body. So here is my little guy. I'm gonna go ahead and hold him up for you guys. I went ahead and started working up the body, and something I actually forgot to mention in my little short that I made was I did in his feet, which are like the first thing that you make, I did put little glass, like aquarium, rocks, like the little blue clear colored ones that you get like at the dollar store in the little mesh bags or little net bags. I did put one in each foot, and it was actually perfect because their feet are like the exact size of those little aquarium rocks, those little smooth, I don't know about rocks. I don't know if rock is the right word, but you know, they're like the man-made ones. The little like clear bluish tinted ones. I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I did put those in the feet, and I did that so that it would weigh it down at the bottom a little bit, and it would be like more likely to want to stand and just like stay the way that I want it to in general. So I worked up his legs, and I worked up his arms actually also in the same scrap yarn, because I was working with scrap yarns, so I had to be kind of aware of how I wanted my colors to go, because I knew I would run out. And then I did the belly button. In the Impkin pattern, there is a belly button, and I don't know how I feel about the belly button, to be completely honest. Mine, and I felt this way when I was making mine, but I also have seen quite a few Impkins at this point, and I feel this way about like every Impkin I've seen. I don't feel like it looks like a belly button. I just feel like it's a little low for a belly button. But I did leave it in because it is part of the pattern, and I went ahead and worked the legs together, worked the belly button in, and then that was when I ran out of yarn, which was perfect because then it looked like a shirt. So I switched to this like brown tweedy yarn, and this one is actually a 3-weight yarn. So this was a 4-weight. This is Red Heart Roll With It Melange. I don't know what colorway off the top of my head, because like I said, it was a yarn scrap. And this, I don't even remember the name of that yarn. I think it was Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek, one of the variegated ones. But I had went through and color pulled and like cut out certain colors into little yarn scraps and been using them for granny squares, but then I had some left over, and that was where some of the yarn scraps that are in this actually came from. So that was where this brown came from. Worked it up, attaching the arms as I went, and then that created this cute little color pulling, or color division, I guess. And then when I got to the head, and I was stuffing everything lightly as I went, I put a glue stick in it to stabilize going up into the neck. The circumference of the neck is actually like exactly the thickness of a glue stick. So it's a very, very skinny little neck. And I wanted to make sure that it wasn't super floppy, so I put this glue stick in. It runs, you know, from in the torso up into the head, probably to like right here. And then I used Lion Brand, I want to say Homeland yarn. It was actually the same yarn that I used for this blue on here. So if you guys are curious exactly what yarn it was, I did say in the video when I talked about that, but I don't remember off the top of my head super specifically which yarn it was. But I did use that for the head because I thought it matched really well with this blue that was in the Roll With It melange that I used. And then when I got up to the head, I decided I wanted to do these. I have these leather buttons, and I thought it would be really fun to finally get to use them. And so what I did was I went through and I actually picked out these 2 buttons that are the same button, but they are 2 different sizes. So he's got this kind of asymmetrical wonky thing going on with his eyes, and I love it so much. I think it's very fitting for this style. I think it's so cute. And I finished off the head. At that point, I started to play around with the accessories even before I finished my amigurumi. I wanted to give him this little wire-wrapped crystal necklace. I made him this little yellow vest, and these are just free-handed. And I sewed this on, so it's like a tiny little yellow vest. And I sewed that on, and then I think at that point I went ahead and made the spiky ears and the wavy horns, because those were the two options that we had voted on for the Impkin for this past time, which it ended like yesterday. So well, I mean, you could still make it, of course, but that was kind of like the time period for it. And then Saturday we will vote on the next Impkin. So if you guys are interested in participating this coming Saturday, head over to Mantha's Makes channel for her live stream where we'll vote on the pieces for the next one. But yeah, I went ahead and made those and sewed those on. These are so fiddly. They are so fiddly to crochet because they're so tiny. You're crocheting with like in the round with like 6 stitches. And that's always a pain in the butt, but I love how it came out. These were all yarn scraps. These are Red Heart Super Saver Latte Stripe yarn scraps that I used for these, as well as like the trim on this. And then this is another, I believe, Line Brand Heartland scrap. And then I was like, I feel like he needed more like clothing, like more of this, like, I don't know, there's like this, I don't know how to explain it, but I guess like boho, like little scrappy look. For lack of a better word, I'm just going with boho. So I made him another vest, a bulkier, longer vest, and I love it. I love the layered vest look. I think it's perfect. And then I decided he needed some hair, and these are actually scraps from when I made the Hobbit rug for my niece's nursery. I literally had scraps that were probably like this long, maybe a little bit longer, and that's what I used to make the hair, was I just got in my scrap bag. And then that is my finished little crystal Spriggan. So let me try to give him a little moment in the spotlight here. I think he came out so cute. I love him so much. Adorable. And I really like this pattern. I really like this Impkin pattern. I think it's so cute. Oh yeah, and I did omit the tail that we all voted on. It was this really bushy, curly style tail, and I just did not feel like it matched my like theme at all. So I did omit that, but everything else I did according to our little voting. Obviously, I took liberties with it and made it, you know, little extras and stuff like that. Like, I always do that when I do a pattern. I make it my own. I do think that when I make it next time, I might omit the belly button and just kind of redo that bit of the pattern. I don't think it would be difficult to do because, you know, working the legs together and working up the torso is something that you do in a lot of amigurumi that is like standing style amigurumi. So I have experience doing that, and then all I'll need to do is make sure that the stitch counts end up lining up as you're working up the rest of the plushie. So I do think for the next one I'll probably omit the belly button because just personal preference, I think I would probably like it better without the belly button. I do like the idea of the belly button. I think it's such a cute idea. I just think it falls too low on the amigurumi for me, that I just, for a lot of the ones I've seen, some more than others, I've seen some where it really does not look like a belly button, like, and it just stands out. On this one in particular, it doesn't bother me much, but like I said, it just doesn't look like a belly button to me, so I think I would omit that, but I think it's so cute. I think it's a great pattern. But yeah, I wanted to share that with you guys. So that's my little crystal Spriggan. And then I did have my Hooker versus Hooker first live stream last weekend on Saturday, which some of you guys went to. So if you did, thank you for the support. If you didn't, that's totally fine too. But we had our first live where we found out what we were going to be doing. So I can tell you guys what we're going to be doing for Hooker versus Hooker, which is going on over on Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming channel this time around. I will link her channel down below, and then also I will link an Alaskan Crafter Jan's channel down below, which is the other channel that they kind of swap back and forth which channel it takes place on. There is actually a live going on this weekend over on her channel for the current April Hooker versus Hooker that they're doing, where they're doing amigurumi, and it's probably going to be really funny. So if you guys want to come to hang out at that, that's going to be on Jan's channel. But we are doing this month, this May month, which, by the way, happy May. We're doing that over on Mad Mimi's channel. So anyway, we found out what we're doing. I can't show you guys what I make. I haven't started it yet. I haven't even picked out the yarn. But I can't show you what I make at all, but I can tell you guys what's going on with it. And I can, I believe, show you the yarn. Did I write that down somewhere? Can show yarn on videos, but no project. I did write down a few notes just to like make sure I remembered some specific things that I already know, but like it just makes me feel better to have written them down while they were being said, and that was one of them. Anyway, so this challenge for this month is a baby item. So we can make a baby item of any sort for an actual baby, like she said 2 and under. And it's got to be in yellow, green, and white. And the way that Hooker versus Hooker works is you pick one yarn of each color. So I can't use like 3 different greens or something like that. I have to use 1 white, 1 green, 1 yellow, no other colors. And then embellishments are like very much dependent on the project you're making, but keep them to a minimum basically is the idea. So for example, they said like if you're making a dress or something and you want to put a ribbon on it, that's okay. If you're making an amigurumi or a lovey or something and you know you need like stuffing or safety eyes or something, that's okay. But don't go crazy with the embellishments. Don't be buying things at the store to add to it. You know, it's really crochet focused. So yeah, so I have some ideas rolling around in my head. I had an idea kind of right away, but then I'm like, I don't know. I have some other ideas, but I am allowed to hear your guys' ideas. So feel free to let me know what comes to mind for you when you hear baby item with the colors green, yellow, and white. I would love to hear what you guys think of, because you guys are like a freaking amazing source of ideas, and I would be stupid not to tap into my resources and you know get any of your guys' little ideas. So speaking of ideas, moving on, because I can't really talk more about that, someone had a fantastic idea in relation to the giant gnome that I'm gonna make for the channel that I'm working on. For the gnome that I'm working on, not for the channel. Well, I mean, I'm technically always working on the channel, but you guys get what I'm saying. And yes, I am just like waving around a crochet hook. Bippity boppity boo. But they said that it made them think of a like Mr. Potato Head, because I was talking about making like the limbs removable and the hat removable and everything like attachable with Velcro so that it can be changed out and all that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch my Gnome of the Month video that I just posted on Saturday. I talk about it all in depth. But they were like, it reminds me of Mr. Potato Head, which with that in mind, they were like, what if you do a drawstring closure? Which I actually had thought and considered and been thinking about doing a drawstring closure. But they had a different reason. So my reason that I was thinking about it was that I could change out the stuffing. So like, let's say that I decide to stuff it with random old pillows or something like that. But over time, I want to change it out to something better. Or I want to, I don't know, wash it or something, which isn't really something you don't really want to have to wash amigurumi if you can help it, like throw it in the washer. But I just had considered, because of the fact of how I was making it, that I could do a drawstring closure up under the hat. But I had sort of dismissed the idea a bit and kind of moved on from it. But they were saying, what if I threw whatever into it, like old clothes, pillows, whatever, into the bottom of it to kind of flesh it out, get it going. But then I put the changeable parts the different accessories that I make for it inside of it. I use it as a storage like bag. And I love that idea. I think that is so smart because it hadn't even occurred to me, where in the world am I going to put changes of like giant hats and different arms and different little jackets and things like that, because they're gonna be big. They're gonna be like people-sized jackets and way bigger than people-sized hats. They're gonna be massive hats, you know, with like a circumference of like this for the brim. Like they're gonna be big bleep hats. And I hadn't even thought about the fact of like, where am I going to keep those? So when I read their idea, I was like, that is genius. They can kind of be stuffing, but then also they're kept together with my project. It's like, everything is just, that is just smart to keep it all together like that. So I am definitely doing it that way. I really like that idea. So I'm planning on working the gnome up nice and like big and kind of taller so that it can go up into the hat, and then it will be cinched drawstring closure style, and then we'll do the hat on top of that. So that is what I have got going on as far as that goes. And then I've just been working on some other stuff. Nothing really crazy to like show updates on or anything like that, but that's just kind of the stuff that I've got going on right now. I thought I'd give you guys a little update, and I definitely wanted to fill you in on the crystal Spriggan because I think he came out so cute, and he definitely needed, you know, to be featured in a video more than just a short. Like I said, I was going to post it yesterday, but I was hoping that the sore throat would go away. I was actually really hoping yesterday morning that it would just be one of those you wake up with it kind of things and it goes away as the day like kind of starts up. It's not. But anyways, guys, I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope you guys are having a good week. We are halfway through the week, so it is Wednesday. It is Whip Wednesday, so if you would like to let me know what you've been working on down in the comments, let me know what you're up to. Just a little bit longer, and you can make it to the weekend. And we've got some fun things, like I said, in the crochet world going on this weekend. We've got Sam and Panda's live on Saturday for the Impkins, and also just for hanging out. It's always a good time. I totally recommend hanging out in her lives. And then we'll have a live over on Jan's channel after Sam's for the Hooker versus Hooker, which I think is going to be really funny. I'm so excited for it, guys. But I hope you guys are doing good. I'll see you again real soon. I love you guys so, so much. Thank you for being here. Mwah, mwah. And welcome any newbies, by the way. I have had some new people joining, so I want to welcome you to my cozy little corner. It's a little bit messy. Don't pay attention to my little bit of mess that I've made. I'm reorganizing and trying to put away things. So there is a little bit of a mess. Those are empty project bags sitting back there. But anyways, guys, I'll see you again real soon. Bye, guys.